Hello friends, let us move on a slope and reaction calculation for beam. The study is very important from the beam point of view because whenever we are looking towards the beam, that time we observed there is a slope is taken place as well as there is a bending moment also developed. So that is the reaction calculation. So we could say that this is the video, or we do the study of a slope and reaction calculations for a beam. So let us take the first of all the problem. So determine the deflection at the nodes and slope at the nodes and the reaction at the supports. So this is the problem of a beam. Here we can consider the one beam which one is fixed at the one end, which one is fixed at the one end, while at the another end there is a pivotal supports or the roller support. Here we could see a roller support. Now because of the roller support, it one is to be moved in this direction, it one is to be moved in this direction. So we could say that there is a deflection taken place along the x-axis. Deflection is taken along the x-axis. So first of all, we need to convert this diagram into the nodal diagram. So let first of all understand the problem in a right way. What is given? Given is that is the E and I value is 400 into 10 raised to the power 3. Given that is the forces, that is the P1 is equal to minus 1000 Newton meter. So what is that 1000 Newton meter? That is the 1000 minus, that's because this one is moved against the y direction, so that one is the downward direction. So 1000 Newton per meter square, this is up to the 2 meter. Then the point load is again applied as the negative direction, that is the minus 200. Why it is again the minus, but here we have shown the plus because this is in the opposite direction of the y. Then the length is given, L1 is equal to L2 is given, then the EI value is also given. So this is the given into the problem, and we are interested to calculate deflection, slopes and different reaction at the supports. The supports are this one and these are the supports. Let us move how to solve this problem. Here again the stiffness matrix we need to calculate. Now first of all, discretize the figure into different nodes. So here we could say these are the three nodes. So node 1, node 2 and node 3. At every node there is a chance for the deflection as well as the reaction as well as for the your slopes are this one is the anti-clockwise direction because there is a possibility of this force, the beam is sagging like this one, the beam is like this one. That's why we have taken the slope is like this one. Okay okay and these one are the reactions taken place at the various point, the reaction or the bending moment taken place at the various points. So how we discretize this one? So the element 1, now three nodes we have considered. This is the element number 1 and this is the element number 2. So element number 1, the parameters are the nodes are given 1 and 2 and 2 and 3. So now this 2 and 2, this shows the continuity law or the compactability law. So the total DOF, that is the at every node there are the two parameters, means there are the three nodes and the two DOF and the two DOF. So there is the 6. So there are the in global stiffness matrix, the global stiffness matrix size is 6 by 6, 6 by 6. So this is my global stiffness matrix, this is my global stiffness matrix, while my load vector is the 6 by 1, as well as my displacement vector is 6 by 1, 6 by 1. So let us move next step. So first of all, the element stiffness matrix formula for a beam. This is very important for a beam. Now in the last lectures or in the last problems we have taken the element stiffness matrix for the bar. Here we have taken the element stiffness matrix for the beam, and this is the formula. This is the formula. You need to remember this formula whenever any type of the beam problem come into examination, or if you want to deal anywhere, that time this is the formula. This is the formula you need to consider whenever you need to try to solve any problem on the beam. So this is the formula. This is the formula. There is no another alternate just to remember this one. But if you looks towards this one, then you observe this one diagonally. If you are remember this one diagonal, so this term is here, this term is here, this term is here. So upper size or the upper matrix is a replica of the lower matrix. So you need to remember only these terms and the upper matrix. There is no need to remember the lower matrix. Once you are remembering this one, then automatically you can put the replica of the here, and you can be very easily able to remember the element stiffness matrix for the beam. So K1 is equal to EI upon L1 cube into this matrix. I am writing this when E is given, EI is given, upon L1 is 2 cube. Then the formula is given 12 into 6 L1. So the length is given 2, the length is given 2, so multiplied by 2 we get the stiffness matrix for the elements. So this is my local or element stiffness matrix. This is my element stiffness matrix for element 1. Element 1. This is the element stiffness matrix for element 1. So my K1 is equal to 10 to the power, just by manipulation of all these values I am getting 10 to the power 14. This is my element stiffness matrix for the element 1. Similar way or the same way I am also calculating the element stiffness matrix for the K2, or element stiffness matrix for the K2. Again solving this one, by solving this one I am getting this solution. Now this 10 to the power 4, and here also the 10 to the power 4 is common. Just to manipulate this common parameters, I manipulate this matrix. So my global stiffness matrix is the K1 plus K2. So my global stiffness matrix is K1 plus K2. Now there are the four parameters, so that is the dy, displacement along the axis is y-axis, then the bending or the slope, or there is a deflection taking place. So this is the d2y into phi 2, d3y into phi 2. First when we have already saying that 6 by 6 matrix is required to for the global stiffness matrix. So this is the 6 by 6 global matrix. Now by adding this K1 and K2 by the direct stiffness method, this 60 60 60, I put this one, here is the addition, here is the addition, here is the addition. This is the manipulation of a direct stiffness method to find out this global stiffness matrix. So here we are very easily calculating the global stiffness matrix. But once the global stiffness matrix we are calculating, then there is a need to learn a force vector, because that plays the very important role into a beam problems, into a beam problem. So F is equal to K into D. So now this is the force vector. So what is that? The force vector is equal to the force that is now at the node 1. At the node 1 we have seen a UDL, uniform distributed load, that is PL divided by 2 into R1, that is the reaction also applied into this one. Then then at the point 1 there is a deflection also taken place, so that is PL1 P1 L1 square divided by 12 into moment plus moment plus moment. Here this one is the force vector, again at the node 2, that is PL by 2, then the direction minus 2000. Again there is a moment, there is a deflection, that is P1 L1 square upon L1 square, L1 upon 12, sorry, upon 12, plus here there is no moment, that is the 0, because there is no reaction. Then the reaction R3, and lastly there is no deflection taken place, as this is the support is provided. Now the boundary conditions we need to apply, that is the at d1y there is a fixed point, so this is equal to 0. At this point there is no deflection, so that is also 0. Same way at the last point there is a d3, so there is no chance for the any type of the movement along the y-axis, so this is equal to 0, but there is a chance for the deflection, there is a chance for the deflection, so this is not the equal to 0, this is not equal to, this is not equal to 0. Hence what we observe, this term is 0, hence these are cancelled, these are cancelled, this is cancelled, this is also cancelled, so this is cancelled. Now the remaining terms are this is the remaining term, this is the remaining term, this is remaining term, and this is remaining term. Well, this term is also cancelled because this is 0, because this is 0. Hence after manipulation my K matrix is changing, my K matrix is changing. The force matrix now minus P, this is the force matrix multiplied by R1 multiplied by m1, this is minus 2000, this is 0, this is reaction, this is reaction, again this is 0, this is 0, this is 0, so this is 0, this is 0, then my this one is terms also 0, rest of the terms are available, rest of the terms are available, so three terms are reduced. So this here we made this one, this term is cancelled, this term is cancelled, and this term is cancelled, so this is the terms are remain, this is the term, and this one terms are remain. Put these values, hence we get this one. Now here see, this is the 3000, and this is the 0, and the K matrix is available. So this is the 3000, this is 33.33, and this is the 0 is equal to, this is the matrix, this is the matrix. Now we need to solve the problem. Now here we have seen the simultaneous equation, so this is the equation 1, this is the equation 2, and this is the equation 3. So there are the three terms, it is very difficult to solve this simultaneous equation. So by using elimination approach, by using a Gauss elimination method, we are trying to solve the problem. So what we have done here, that is the add the 33 divided by 77 in row number 1 to row number second, similarly minus 26 to minus 10 to the row number second and third. So we get, we are manipulating this one, or we could say that Gauss elimination method. So you need to learn first of all the Gauss elimination method, what is it, and then we would be able to solve this problem in a very right way. So this is the Gauss elimination method. Because of this Gauss elimination, this values becomes 0. Then again we are manipulating this, and finally we are trying to find out the Gauss using this one. We are getting the different equations, and finally we are finding the values of phi as well as the different forces available on this parameter. So these are the various methods by which we are getting the values, different values. Once we are getting solving the matrices, we are getting the reactions and all that one, and finally we are finding the values of the moment, find reactions at the various places. So hope here you are not very comfortable with the Gauss elimination method because we are not dealing with it, but we are able to solve the beam problem very easily, even though Gauss elimination method is not applicable in some of the problems. Thank you to all.